Hey there, Tamir from Fibonaccis-Traders.com here with the weekly market recap. Let's get started. Before we do, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Thank you very much. SPY weekly, we can see trend lines. As we always say, trend lines are the true support and resistance for price action. If we only look left and draw a line on the lower highs since January 22, March 22, August 22, and now November 22, we have to the penny trend line. But on the positive side, previous times it was a doji of a trend line. Now we have a green bar, bullish bar touching. Let's see next week if bulls have enough power to break finally up and above, and we will use these areas of support to the upside to manage the risk. QQQ still have time for this trend line. We have the 294 area, which the Qs are getting rejected time after time because it was support and resistance just by looking left. Support, resistance throughout 2022, and if we go further back, we can see it was also during 2020 support and resistance on the weekly time frame. IWM also trend line since November 2021, year-long trend line to the penny, and now also together with the 190 level, Fibonacci level, we look left, strong resistance, trend line, and the Fibonacci. This area, we can see it's a very strong resistance for the IWM bulls. If and when they will break up and above, 200 is next, and above it, the 210 area on the weekly time frame. Always zoom in, zoom out to get a better point of view. IWM on the monthly, we can see better price action, and it's much clearer to see that the 190 area since January 22 from strong support breaking below and now strong resistance throughout 2022. If bulls will manage to break up and above 200 and then 210, always zoom in, zoom out to get a better point of view on price action. Dow Jones continuing to lead the market to the upside. We can see clearly 335 is the support that we are looking at, and now 350 is the next test for the bulls. If bulls will manage to break up and above, then we will see in the first quarter of 2023 going retesting all-time highs. Dow Jones is only around 7 or 8% from all-time highs, 6.8 from all-time highs. VIX going down under, and we need to notice this trend line. This trend line goes all the way back to the lows of December 17, January 18, then December 19, June 21, and here November of 21. Now, once price will reach this trend line, we might expect with high probability that VIX will get a rebound to the upside, because every time it touched this trend line, VIX jumped up. Let's see if this time it will happen again. If we look left, according to the history, it will happen, so pay attention. And if you're long positioning, this is the time to start managing the risk more properly. Dollar index breaking down under now the 104 will be the next support. If we're looking left, we can see it was a strong support during earlier this year, 2022, breaking down and under 101 will be next. Natural gas going towards the 5.3 area, and then if this area will fail to hold price, we can expect with high probability that the 360 is the next support area for the gas. Now if we take low, higher low, higher low, and here we can be a little bit more accurate. We can use this magnet here. I don't like it so much, so forgive me if I'm not that accurate. Again, it's not rocket science, it's only price action. We need to be able to identify support and resistance area, and as we can see, this trend line helps us to identify lower highs. So let's see price action going all the way to this area here with this trend line, the 530 together breaking down and under, and if this will break down under, we will see 360, not 100%, but with high probability because price is going back to where it was before. Bitcoin on the weekly sliding down this trend line. This trend line goes all the way back to 2021, holding the lower lows, and now since November 22, lower lows. Let's see if these three dojis will help to identify maybe some kind of an uptrend towards the 21 area, but as long as we see this lower lows, lower highs, it's a definite downtrend. Some people will say this is a falling wedge. Yeah, it's falling because price is falling. Apple weekly struggling with this trend line. This trend line goes all the way back to August earlier this year. High, lower highs to the penny since October 22. To the penny, to the penny, to the penny. Now we have a doji of this support trend line, which this support trend line, these two trend lines go way back to February 21, holding the higher lows. Now, previous week, doji bouncing off this trend line all the way to where? To this trend line here. Let's see if Apple bulls have power finally to break up and above, and then we can assume that 158, 160 area will be the next area of resistance for the bulls. Only by looking left, you can see it was a support resistance throughout 2022. Tesla bouncing off this trend line. This trend line helps us to identify the lower lows. Now doji of the 166. This 166 was during November 2020, sorry, August 2020 and November 2020. It was resistance, breaking up, now coming back again as a doji of this support and off this trend line bouncing. Now let's see 202 breaking up and above towards the 230. Always follow price and use the levels and trend lines to manage risk. NVDA 4 weeks in a row after a very nice bull run since October lows. We had 55% bull run, still have a lot to go up to all-time highs, but if we can see these 4 candles here, the previous 4 weeks on NVIDIA, 170 area is a tough one for the bulls. If bulls will manage to break up and above, we will see this trend line here getting retested. One more week failing to break up and above, we can expect bulls to give up and bears to come back and pushing price back down towards the 141 and maybe even lower back to the 109. But for now, we can see bulls are in full control on the short term on NVDA. Microsoft, this trend line here, price action is still far from it, have another 6 or 7%. So let's see if we can reach it during this December. We have the 260 area in the way and then the 271, which collides with this trend line. MJ, as we talked about this ETF during the last few weeks or so, we waited patiently for this trend line to break up and above. This trend line goes all the way to June of 2021 to the penny of November 21, and here during March of 22, and now finally bulls took over, breaking up and above with a nice bullish candle up also above the 610 area. If we can see, the 610 area was support and resistance. Now let's see continuation towards the 730. Facebook, Meta, same goes for this one. Long-term downtrend channel holding as a resistance for the lower highs. Now let's see if next week or the week after it we can break up and above and get a small Santa rally, breaking up this one and going all the way to 155. Why the 155? Because only by looking left, no need any Fibonacci, no need nothing, we can just draw a line over here on the support area, and we can see this area, the 155.56, it will be a strong resistance because it was a strong support until it broke down and under. We can go further left all the way to 2017. It was resistance, support. Also here it was some kind of a support which broke down, and now if price will go up and above this trend line, we can assume with high probability that the next area price action will have a tough time is this green line, the 155. TAN, solar ETF, also on close watch. I'm waiting for a break up and above this trend line. This trend line goes all the way back to January 2021. Here we can see throughout August, September of 22, holding as a strong resistance for price action, and now the week just closed on it. Looking good, waiting for another day or two, close above it. We might get a breakup, retesting, and going towards the 91 area. So put your alerts on the chart on this trend line or above the 84-85 area so you don't miss the breakout. This is how I do. I go over 500 names each weekend and I put alerts on the areas that I'm looking at. So if you find this video helpful, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Also turn on the notification bell. 1 or 2 more videos coming up this weekend, so don't miss them out. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and until then, do good things.